What's up, y'all? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Please hit that like and make sure you sub to the channel if you're not a member. Also, hit the notifications to get all of my content as well as all of my videos. Um, Salute to the whole entire Lions Den basketball as well as boxing community, and salute to all the people that are rocking with me. We are talking about hoops right now. Um, I give some time, a little bit of time for some people to get up in here, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. Um, with this situation. I'm not going to keep y'all too long. Um, got some other things to tackle too as well. Aside from this, I hope everybody's feeling all right. Um, the weather's getting a lot better. Still kind of cool, but for the most part, it feels pretty good down here. So I'll just wait a few minutes for some people to get up in here, and then we'll get rocking and rolling, man. One second. What is this? There you go. I'm not doing this today. Again, like I said, I hope everybody's doing all right. And we'll tackle it in just a second. Appreciate everybody coming in. Octavius, what's up, man? I see you in here, brother. What's going on, man? Hit that like, man. Make sure y'all hit that like when y'all come in here, man. We want to get it out there. Want to get it out there, man. How's everything going with you, bro? We definitely got better weather than it's been the last couple. I mean, I didn't really mind the snow. I definitely didn't mind the snow and the ice and everything, or the cold and everything. But I love hot weather, man. I love hot weather. I could deal with uh, with it either way, but it doesn't make no difference to me, man. Um, I can adapt to anything. Please hit that like when you come in here. Double tap the screen. Hit the like when you come in here. I am a gamer guy. You might not know me, but I have sent to help streamers with their channel. If you want help, uh, let me know. I appreciate the help, gamer guy. Appreciate it, man. Um, let's go ahead and get right to this, though. Okay. Now, um, Adam Silver. I'll be protecting the stream. Look out. Nah, that's all right, man. Appreciate it. Um, what's up, Alex? I see you in here, man. Please hit that like when you come in here. Now, uh, on the big podcast, with Shaquille O'Neal, he had Commissioner Adam Silver on there, and they talked about a number of things, but the one thing that they were able to tackle uh, were the NBA ratings and the quality of the NBA and how it's been, particularly this year as well as last year. And then also, of course, they talked about quote unquote keeping the band together. When I say the band, we're talking about the inside guys inside the NBA with of course him, Charles Barkley, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Ernie Johnson. Okay. Um, Listen, man. Adam Silver, man, wants to try his best to defend why the ratings are so bad, and he actually came out on record and wants Shaq and the crew to be dishonest and not tell the truth and to lie to the people about the quality of the NBA just so that people can continue to watch this poor display of what we've seen. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me. What's up, Amir? I see you in here. Don't get me wrong. I still watch the game. Could the ratings go be up? Yes. A whole hell of a lot more. We saw the ratings go up. Well, we saw the ratings shoot sky high when it came to OKC and when it came to the Cleveland Cavaliers game. Okay, the ratings were high, and that was without some of your marquee names. Okay, now we do have marquee names that should be out on the forefront that were in that game, like a SGA. You know what I'm saying? Like a Donovan Mitchell, hell, I'm even willing to put uh, somebody like Jared Allen up there. But some of these other guys, what I'm saying, should be out at the forefront in terms of what they're promoting and who they're promoting. Adam Silver wants Shaq to sit there and, be, you know, tell people basically how well the NBA is and all this other stuff, even though that, you play for the NBA and stuff like that. Well, Adam Silver, what's up with it, Kenyon? Adam Silver, you got to understand Shaq knows what league that he grew up in playing in. Okay? Charles Barkley, he's a Hall of Famer. He knows what league that he came up playing in. So did Kenny. So did the other rest of these players. They know what NBA, they know they're a part of the fraternity. They know what brand of basketball and what style of basketball that they enjoy and that they were used to watching. And this right here is not going to cut it. Now, what Adam Silver tried to do to try to smoothen everything over, he did say that he wanted, them to keep the band together, which is, keeping the NBA inside guy, inside the NBA together and NBA on TNT. And he basically said he appreciates their honesty, all this other stuff. Well, if you appreciate their honesty and all this other stuff or whatever, then you shouldn't have said that other capping that shit that you said, Adam Silver, talking about you want Shaquille O'Neal and you want Kenny the Jet Smith and you want Charles Barkley up in there to tell people about the quality of the NBA and stuff like that. No, I respect the honesty. Other fans, they feel the same way. You're just delusional. You're delusional, and Adam Silver comes off like he does not care about the product of the NBA. David Stern, he cared about the product of the NBA. You understand what I mean? He cared about the product of the NBA, and that's the big difference. One of the big differences between Adam Silver and the late David Stern. Listen, David Stern, he didn't do everything that a lot of people like. You know what I'm saying? But he sure was a whole hell of a lot better than what Adam Silver presents. Adam Silver seems like the only thing that he cares about is what's trendy, what's hot, and what's gonna make what's gonna basically be the most popular thing to do, as opposed to really appealing to basketball fans that want to see a good product out there on the floor. You want to continue to market off of a 40-year-old LeBron James, who everybody knows is clearly done, okay? And you're trying to talk about the same teams that you continue to talk about. Now, I didn't talk about this interview with LeBron James and the Kelsey brothers because I don't want to give it no more power than what other people are already doing. But LeBron James basically is trying to capitalize off of what the Cavs are doing, and that's so unfair to the Cavs. Look, the Cavs don't need you. They don't need you saying anything. It's good that you were sitting up there saying, "Oh yeah, well, I was the first one to do it." Yeah, we know that, motherfucker. But now they done moved on without you. Okay, they done moved on without you. You don't need to be even thrown in the mist. Did you see other guys coming back? Did you see? Um, would you see Charles Barkley if the Phoenix Suns, came over there saying, "Oh yeah, well I was the first one to get to here or get to there, or I was one of the ones to get to here or get to there," or do you see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar going back to the Milwaukee Bucks or some shit like that? No, you don't say that. You say salute. Silver is not demanding and doesn't the fan doesn't care about the fan. No, he doesn't. He cares about what's popular and all this other stuff. Listen, that's why I said if you had a guy like Joe Dumars in that commissioner seat, which I doubt highly that they're going to do, things would be a lot better. I like Joe Dumars' mentality. Joe Dumars, one of the reasons why the 65 game rule was implemented is because he understands how what the standard was back in the days. He understood what the standard was back in the days, and that was to play a certain amount of games. Like I said, man, if you look at some of these the great Iron Men, even the guys that weren't really considered Iron Men, but they just showed up and played, and some of the superstars, you look at 70 games, 75 games, 80 games, like Karl Malone. As much as I don't like Karl Malone, you see nothing but 82, 82, 82. Like, they didn't have no excuses. But see, my thing is this. Adam Silver, you're trying to defend all this bullshit that's going on. Now, the three-point shooting, I'm kind of up in the air about the three-point shooting. I'll tell you this. There's some guys that shouldn't be shooting three-pointers, and there's some guys that I don't mind shooting three-pointers. If you're shooting well above, 30, somewhere along the lines of 35, 36%, and you're doing that on a consistent basis, I don't have a problem with you shooting three-pointers. You know what I'm saying? But if you know damn well you don't belong beyond the arc, shooting that three-point shot all the time, airballing shots, putting your team in a bad position and stuff, then that probably is not the best shot for you, and you need to find another shot selection. But besides that, people want more physicality. People want more physicality. You could still mix it up. There were teams that were still able to get 100 points, but they still played defense back in the days. I don't want to hear none of these excuses. Now, look, I don't mind a score being relatively low. I don't mind a low score like a 80 something to 70 something game. To me, what that tells me is that you have two teams that are really fighting and really good defensively. I think it should be 70 games because of injuries. Players choose to set out. That will get rid of players sitting out. Yeah, you know what? I think me myself personally, I think it should be 75. I'm just being real. I think it should be 75. I mean, and I'm being lenient when I say that. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to consider, like, there are some players that have played hurt. Like, and I'm looking at the other players. I'm looking like some of these players that play through injuries and stuff like that. Look, I know that everything got to evolve. I know that, eventually we have to move on from what was old into new. But if that's the case, look at in medicine and look at technology and look at advancements in science, that has evolved too. So basically what I'm saying is that, okay, if that has evolved, if players are recovering quicker and all this other stuff, then why the hell is Zion sitting out? Why the hell is Joel Embiid sitting out? Now we understand what happened with Zion. He was just being lazy. He just lazy than a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Embiid will play more games. Look, I'm at the point now when it comes to guys like Embiid, when it comes to guys like Zion Williamson, just get the hell up out of the league, man. Because all you pretty much doing is stealing money. I'm not gonna go as far as to say that about Kawhi. Um, Kawhi did have a situation, you know what I'm saying, with the fire and everything. And of course, Kawhi, I'm not gonna sit up there and make Kawhi the face of load management and all that, because when Kawhi is healthy and he's able to do his thing, Kawhi has been successful. And we don't know to defend Kawhi just a little bit. We don't know how much pain that Kawhi was truly playing in. You know what I'm saying? Now there has been some things that have been questionable about Kawhi that I could be like, you know what? Maybe you should have been out there. But for the most part, I'm pretty sure if Kawhi could play and he was 100% and he could do what was necessary to better his team like he's doing now or whatnot, he would be out there. But when it comes to Zion, you don't have no excuses. Joel Embiid, he just makes pretty fucked up decisions. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, I give you props for getting out there and playing, hurting everything, but at the same time, you don't know what type of disadvantage, Stephen, that he's putting on the team. You're actually being a detriment to the team. You should have did the smart route, took all that rest that you needed to take the previous year, and then you wouldn't be in the nonsense that you are now. The Sixers wouldn't be on the verge of not making the playoffs. And that's another year in which we got to suffer. Listen, last year, and I'm not trying to make this about the Sixers, but I just got to talk about this real quick. Last year, the Sixers got out the first round. Now this year, we're on the verge of making the playoffs. We're getting worse every year. Every season, we're getting worse. Whereas we were supposed to be climbing, getting even further, going past the second round. I mean, hell, Minnesota had even advanced more than what we did. David Stern would not let low management fly. Nah, he wouldn't, man. Like he would probably understand if you had like a really messed up injury. I think in Kawhi's case, they probably would understand, but after a while they would have to, like with Kawhi, he got a condition, degenerative knees that can never get better. Like it's always going to be progressive. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure that they're not going to get out here out on the mainstream media and say, okay, yeah, we're going to sit down with Kawhi and explain his options and have him make some sort of decisions in terms of post career and all that other stuff. They're not gonna put that out on the media or anything, but I'm pretty sure that they've been in Kawhi's ear to let him know, to say, hey, look, we understand that you are one of the superior talents of this league. We know what you bring to the table. You are a champion. At your full health, you are one of the top players in the league. But at the same time, people are paying their top dollars to come out and see you play and to perform. And that's what people want to see. People want to see a good product on the floor too. And also, this is another thing too, and I think they should have brought this up too. It's about promoting and marketing some of this other younger talent. Some of these guys that are coming up now have an old school mentality. Like Cade Cunningham, he has an old school mentality. SGA, he got an old school mentality. Giannis, he got an old school mentality. Even though the Bucks ain't doing that good, they kind of slipping again. They got old school mentality. Jimmy Butler, you know what I'm saying? I know he going through his thing with the Heat. He got an old school headstrong mentality. Westbrook got an old school mentality. You got to put guys like that out on the forefront. All this diva shit that LeBron doing at 40 years old, you think he would let an old ass Kareem dictate the team like he doing with the Lakers? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? Did you think that, Michael Jordan with the Wizards, he had control over every damn thing? No, he did not. You know what I'm saying? They have to move on. And nobody really wants to, come out and say it. But I think that Byron Scott was instrumental in saying it because he was on Colin Cowherd, and he basically said, no, he wasn't on Colin Cowherd. He was on Keyshawn Johnson. You said Brunson has an old school style. Yeah, Brunson got, some of these guys, they got an old school type of style that it fits in well. Like, I love Wemby's demeanor. See, some of y'all get mad at me because I like Wembanyama. Let me tell you why I like Wembanyama, man. Wembanyama don't make no excuses. He takes care of his business. He's quiet and he does what's necessary, just like most international dudes. Look, Jokic, old school mentality, hard hat and everything. I know they keep giving him the MVP. He's not deserving of no MVP this year, but I like Jokic's mentality in comparison to Embiid. Embiid is another diva. You haven't accomplished shit. The only thing you got is a handout MVP. That you were sitting up there crying for because they felt sympathy for you, and that's it. Other than that, like the brother Too Raw for TV and Sports and Fitness Rants was saying, shout out to both of them about the MVPs. Back in the days, you had to work for your MVP. I mean, it wasn't something that, oh yeah, you go crying and complaining to the media and stuff, and then next thing you know, you got an MVP like James Harden just did. Ja dunk on Wemby. Like I said, man, that stuff don't matter. Everybody got dunked on back in the day. Shaq got dunked on. Shaq got dunked on by Dominique Wilkins. Shaq got dunked on by Derek Coleman. That shit happens, man. Everybody gonna get dunked on. Mutombo done been dunked on. Alonzo Mourning done been dunked on. David Robinson. Jordan got dunked on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody get dunked on, man. Ain't no big deal. Shit, and they got another game that they gotta play. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you getting dunked on in a 7-game series and it's a game-winning dunk or whatever, and then they lose the game, then we're having a different conversation. But man, a dunk in the regular season for a game that really don't really mean much, that don't mean nothing, man. So I'm not really, and more importantly, I'm happy at the fact that Wembanyama at least met him at the rim. You don't have anybody meeting each other at the rim anymore. And another thing is too, we need more of that. See, there's not a lot of guys challenging shots anymore. See, y'all get on Wemby. Oh well, he got dunked on by this guy, or such and such got dunked on by that guy. Well, hey, it's giving you something to talk about. At least that guy, all them posters that Mutombo was on, all them posters that Alonzo Mourning was on, and all this other stuff. Well, guess what? That's marketability. You know why? Because you have a guy that's not afraid to challenge the shot. We need more guys challenging each other. I want them to bring hand checking back. There was a thing where they were discussing about bringing the physicality of the NBA back in terms of hand checking. You know what I'm saying? I would like them to bring hand checking back. Now you got to really work for your buckets. But everybody thinks that it's not, appealing and all this other stuff. Man, go to Europe. Go to Spain. Go to Israel. Go to some of these countries or whatnot, man. They still play relatively old school over there, man, and it's still quite physical. You got to work. You got to be able to work for your buckets, and I think that's what people want to see. All this, okay, yeah, I'm gonna match your shot with a 3-point. I'm gonna match your shot with a 3-point, stuff like that. Like I said, I don't have a problem with 3-point, but I do like to mix it up. And everybody knows, if you follow my channel a lot, I love defense. I love defense. I think a not a chase down block, but I think a guy being able to pin your shit to the glass is just as pretty as somebody pulling up from 40 or some shit like that, or crossing somebody over some bullshit. You know? So listen, man, to get back to originally what we were talking about in terms of Adam Silver and him being on the big podcast and him begging Shaq to sit up there and lie to the people. Man, Adam Silver, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, man. Now look, I know that you sat up there and you said you want them guys to still stay together. You appreciate their honesty. Well, if you appreciate their honesty, then you wouldn't have said none of that shit that you said. You would have just been like, look, keep telling the truth. Don't lie to the people. You know what? I'm gonna take that advice. You're talking to Shaq. You're talking to a guy that was a champion. Regardless of how y'all feel about Shaq or whatever, he's still a champion. He's still a Hall of Famer. He's still one of the best to ever do it. So he has a right to say what he says about the NBA. Hell, all these guys that done played in the NBA that have played 10 plus years, they have a right to say what they need to say. That's everybody from the guy at the bottom of the roster all the way to one of the GOATs to ever do it. Like that's on the level of a Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, this, that, and the third. You know, and a lot of these guys, they're very disappointed about the product of the NBA, and I'm pretty sure Adam Silver still hears, from a lot of these legends. He's hearing it from the legends. He's hearing it on social media. He's hearing it from a lot of other people. Like, to me, I'm not intrigued by a Lakers game and must see TV for LeBron James anymore. No, I would rather see some of the younger guys get out there and play. People want to talk about the Anthony Edwards. People want to talk about the Victor Wembanyama. People want to talk about the SGAs. Give SGA an MVP this year. Stop making everything so repetitive and so predictable. There's hardly no parity. And then on top of that, this is another thing too. You know, the NBA Finals we want to see an entertaining finals. We don't want to see a 4-1, or you know what I'm saying, a sweep, a gentleman's sweep. We don't want to see none of that. We want to see a competitive ass series. I don't like a lot of sweeps in the playoffs. Like, that first round with Phoenix and the Timberwolves. I mean, yeah, it's good. It's good to talk about it. Anthony Edwards coming in just straight up dominating the Phoenix Suns and everything. But at the same token, it's like, well, damn, we were expecting the Phoenix Suns to be somewhat competitive. We were expecting these guys to come in and at least put up somewhat of a fight. You said people talking about Bronny James. Listen, and that's another thing too. I don't sit up here, man, and get on Bronny James as much, man, because a lot of this is not Bronny James' fault. Okay, K Dizzle, what's up with it, man? A lot of this is not Bronny James' fault. Okay, this has to do with his father. This has to do with his selfishness. This has to do with him not wanting to let it go. This has to do with him having that, I still got it type of mentality. Look, we all feel that way. I'm pretty sure K Dizzle, my man, he feels the same way. Steven, I'm pretty sure you feel the same way. Everybody that's a little bit older, we all feel like in our mind we can still do it. But listen, if it's my son and them time to go ahead and carry the torch, I know when to take a step back. You know what I'm saying? Like my son, even at 5 years old, getting ready to be 6 years old, he helped me out with something. And this is a 5 or 6 year old. You can learn a lot from kids. The younger generation, they see stuff and they know stuff that's what's to come. We don't see it because we're so used to doing the same old thing, if that makes any sense. And I'm not trying to sound hypocritical because I know some people are gonna be like, oh yeah, well you're a hypocrite because you just said you wanted to go back to the old school. But what I'm talking about in terms of a mentality, if you're on top and you're on top for a long time, I'm gonna expect you to stay on top and to keep succeeding until somebody eventually knocks you off. Now, if somebody knocks you off and you're continuously trying to get back on and stuff, but you clearly are not successful anymore, like LeBron James, you're getting knocked out in the first round. The Lakers organization is clearly not the same anymore. You're trading away teammates. You're snaking people. You want to sit up there. You're getting all these empty stats. You're in the negative. You're like at a negative 140 something. You're trading away guys that are in the pluses. Come on, man. You said the product is slipping for sure. 3-point Barrett has took straight hooping out of the NBA. You said NBA sweep blowouts. Fans don't control of that. What's up with it, Angelo Bell? I see you in bed. You said I can't do it anymore. I tried to grab the rim recently, and it was the epic. Hey, look, but see that's the thing. We know. Hey, listen. Like Kenny Rogers say, like the great Kenny Rogers say, you gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, man. You know what I'm saying? Know when your time is done. Now, I will take it to another level though, K Dizzle, and this is a little bit off the subject. Now, when I talk about a guy like Zion and I talk about Joel Embiid, listen, and this is no bullshit, K Dizzle, Steven, Angelo Bell, everybody else up in here listening, okay? This is no bullshit. And this is on my grandmother's grave. I know countless of numbers where I come from, number of guys in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, and I know maybe 270-year-olds that can still run up and down the floor, and I know 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and 60-year-olds that can still get up and bang. Okay, now they ain't coming down trying to do no Dominique Wilkins type shit or no Vince Carter type shit or no none of that shit, no John Morant type shit. But if they're out in the open floor in the old man league, you think that motherfucker that's like 40 years old, 50 years old, oh, he just gonna lay the ball up? No. I know motherfuckers that's still in good ass shape, that's like in their late 40s, in their 50s, that still get up. So what does that say about Zion? What does that say about Joel Embiid and stuff like that? And I know what people going to say, well, they not in the league. Well, these guys ain't in the league, but these guys got to get up and work a 9 to 5. Some of these guys are supervisors. Some of these guys are retired. You know what I'm saying? They retired from doing whatever work that they did back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Some of these guys got family. They got life responsibilities and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that was off the subject a little bit, but I thought I'd bring that up because K Diz was talking about he can't jump up and grab the rim no more. Man, listen, at least you know, at least you come to your senses. Instead, let's say you get out there with a whole bunch of teenagers and stuff, and you like, oh yeah, man, you bring all this stuff you used to do. Yeah, man, I used to bust Penny Hardaway ass and all this other stuff. They're gonna be like, okay. They just going by what you say, and then they give you the ball or whatever, and your team gets 7-0 skunked out there and shit like that. They're gonna be like, Dog, man, what the fuck? Man, you said you was good or whatever, and that's going to make you look even more bad. Whereas I would clearly tell them, look, I'm just out here for defense. Y'all go ahead and y'all do your thing, or be honest, or just be like, look, I can't run with y'all no more. I know, I know that to be the truth. Plenty of old Hoovers still have it. Matter of fact, that's my goal this summer, to bang again. Man, keep on working on it, man. Keep on working on it. We listen. If you 40, 50, 60, or 70 or whatever, man, we gotta understand, man, bro. Nigga, we not 18 with springs coming out the ass and shit like that. None of that shit. Nah, we not going. We not about to go. Trying to get a scholarship to college and eventually go to the NBA and all this other stuff. And if you play football, we not working to get to the combine and NFL camps and no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to report to the combine and shit where we got to run a 40 and a 4.2 or 4.3. But that's a good goal to have. You know what I'm saying? If you just it makes you work. It still keeps you competitive. It still keeps you a drive. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, they have these 35 and up leagues, man, out here, and they don't never stop. And some of these guys be in better shape. That's why I look at Zion Williamson and I look at Joel Embiid. I'm like, if these guys can get right the fuck back up after playing a game in an old man league or some shit like that, and they got to stand on their feet, whatever job that they do or whatnot. But your ass, you got the best. I put to you like this: you have the best access to everything, man. Like, you could get a masseuse eight times a day if you hurt. You got access to the best painkillers. You got access to the best jacuzzis, the best massage chairs. You know what I'm saying? You got access to the best type of Tempur-Pedic beds. Like, I don't understand your motherfucking excuse. You got people up in here, man, they can't afford that type of shit. But you sitting up in there saying, oh, yeah, well, I got this problem. Or, I'm still hurting. I can't do this and I can't do that. Man, cry me a motherfucking river, man. Zion, man, you ain't got no kid, a whole bunch of kids that you got to come home to and take care of and everything like that, man. You get to come home and play PlayStation and not have to worry about anything. And have you an Instagram, an IG model on call or whatever, just like you did Mariah, whatever the hell her name is. So, like, but Adam Silver, man, to get back to what we were talking about, man, Adam Silver, man, he's so full of shit. And I know some people, they're not critical of Adam Silver. I am, man. That motherfucker, man, I wish that there's a lot of things that, Adam Silver could do a whole hell of a lot better. I mean, I don't even think he really truly, man, take out all this in-season tournament bullshit. You said they are the best access and soft as drugstore cotton. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, like, this is like, listen, Shaquille O'Neal, you got to understand his frustration. And I give props to Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith. Tell the truth. I want them to continue to tell the truth. You got to tell Adam Silver, now, fuck nah, man. I'm keeping it 100 all the time. I'm not gonna lie to these people, because a lot of these, Adam Silver act like there's just one audience watching the NBA. Like they're the core audience is 18 to 24 or some shit like that. No. You have people that are older that know what the NBA once was. You don't see all those legends walking around there? They knew what they watched back in the day. They know what type of product was being given to the people. That's why people are telling you they don't like it. You sitting up in here trying to save, you're trying to defend what the fuck that why the ratings are so low. You're trying to defend that shit. Ain't no way that you could defend that shit, man. There's no way that you could defend any of this. And right now, when you have a legend, you have a champion, you have a Hall of Fame player like Shaquille O'Neal telling you, look, man, this is terrible. You know what I'm saying? That should tell you right there, okay, we need to get it back. You got to think about it. As much as some people don't like Shaq, guess what? Shaq, they marketed around Shaq for a long time. The NBA marketed around Shaq. He had his time where the NBA was marketing around him. Okay, he had the personality and stuff like that, especially when he played for Orlando. Now, one could argue, man, when Shaq went to the LA Lakers, he became more of the villain more than anything. You said right. Tony Parker, David Robinson, Becky Hammond were, yeah, exactly. Like and see, it's just like the Spurs, right? I know the Spurs weren't, back in the days, man. They might have not been appealing. I'm talking about when it came to Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. But there's still some people that actually enjoy the Spurs outside of the people in San Antonio. Now, with David Robinson was actually more, he was more entertaining to watch than Tim Duncan. It's just that Tim Duncan was more successful, and Tim Duncan was a better winner, especially when David Robinson had went down with the injury that slowed him down and everything, But the Spurs, every season, they wouldn't even really hardly talk about the Spurs. They talked about the Spurs because they had to, but it was enjoyable basketball to watch. Myself, like K Dizzle, Stephen Green, if you really love basketball, some of these other heads on YouTube that really, the basketball heads that really truly appreciate basketball, I could sit down and watch a San Antonio Spurs and Detroit Pistons finals game back in the day. I can. But this generation, they'll be like, oh, well, it's not enough this and, not enough offense and stuff like that. Well, they're playing basketball like how it's supposed to be played. You're supposed to play both ends of the floor. You're supposed to prevent your man from scoring. I don't want Ja to get that dunk. As a matter of fact, I want to send his shit back and let him know you said that you were going to stop dunking, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I don't want a motherfucker to come through the lane like a LeBron James and be like, oh, it's just LeBron. Just go ahead and let him dunk. No, I want a Dennis Rodman to say, oh, shit, LeBron about to dunk it. Oh, here comes Rodman. Hell no, denied. You know what I'm saying? I want a motherfucker, like Jordan to come through. Oh, snap, Jordan about to dunk it. Oh, no. Not today, Jordan, sorry. And then somebody and just come and actually every now and then block Jordan. He may get him, he may not. We got to see more parity when it comes to that. You said real basketball heads know what's up with the Spurs. Iceman was one of the greatest. Yeah, he was one of the greatest. Wasn't a great defender, but he was pretty good. Yeah, Iceman was horrible on defense. And R.I.P. to Gus Williams too, man. That was that era. Gus Williams in the 1979 Supersonics. That was the only championship that the Supersonics had. But yeah, man. God rest Gus Williams. Gus Williams. So and Bob Euchre too, man. R.I.P. to Bob Euchre too. Mr. Baseball. Mr. Baseball. Bob Euchre. He passed away at 90. I grew up on him, man. So yeah, we lost two legends today though, but anyways, yeah, man, we got to get the NBA, back to where it was. We know what we like looking at. I know what I like looking at. Now, will it ever be like the '80s and like the '90s and all this other stuff again? No, you know what I'm saying. It won't never go to that. You know what I'm saying. But you do have some guys out there that believe in playing both ends of the floor. They still watch and study some of the legends and some of the greats. So we're gonna see if Adam Silver is gonna make some changes. Now I could tell you one thing. It's not gonna be an overnight thing, and it's gonna be. Listen, when Steph Curry, when he ends up leaving, they're gonna have to find that guy to market around, and you're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna try to play like that individual. Like you're rarely gonna see a lot of people play like a Jokic. You know what I'm saying? You're rarely gonna see that. You're rarely gonna see a lot of people play like a Victor Wembanyama because you don't have a lot of you can't walk into the gym and see a whole bunch of 7'4", 7'5" guys. You know what I'm saying? But you could market around a guy like an SGA. You could market around a guy like an Anthony Edwards. Now everybody doesn't have Anthony Edwards' athleticism. You know what I'm saying? Guys can't. There's just not a lot of guys in this world that have insane athletic ability like an Anthony Edwards. But you can market around an SGA. What? I think SGA is about what 6'4" or something like that, 6'4", 6'5". But he's still able to hit the mid range and still do what a guard is trained to do. So yeah, man. Adam Silver, man, he wants Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley and all of these other media pundits, man, to get up here and fabricate and lie and poison the people's head, man, about how great the NBA is when it really hasn't been that great. You know what I'm saying? It has not been that great. I mean, I still watch it, still report on it. I mean, there are some things that I like, but it was a time, man, when you woke up because like I had never been that excited about a game in a while, with the exception of the OKC and the Cleveland Cavalier game. I said, okay, this is a matchup right here because now you have two of the best teams. This could possibly be a finals matchup. And on top of that, you have two guards who are fighting to, they could be possibly fighting for who's the best two guard in the league besides, Anthony Edwards or whatever. You got Donovan Mitchell and SGA. You know what I'm saying? Then of course you got the front court battle, even though Chet Holmgren wasn't in there and whatnot. But I mean, you just got a different storyline that you can market off of, and it's good to see This is another thing too. It's good to see Detroit basketball back, and it's good to see New York Knicks basketball back. I don't think that gets talked about enough. You know, people got to understand the history and the culture of both the Knicks franchise and as well as the Detroit Pistons franchise. Their type of fan base and their type of culture is needed in the NBA, just like the Boston Celtics and just like the LA Lakers, as well as even the Miami Heat. Hell, even the Spurs. I'm glad the Spurs. Now I know the Spurs. They haven't quite turned the corner like we truly wanted them to. You know what I'm saying? They're not number one in the West or anything like that, but they're certainly better than what they were last season, and they've already won more games than what they have last season. So what does that say about that? I think they're 19-20 at this point. So I got to give man I myself personally, man. If I got to see a change, I would say in the next like 2 years, man. You know, LeBron James, he's about to exit the league in 3 years. I don't see him wanting to give it up. I don't see him wanting to let go. You know, I can't see LeBron James sitting on the bench or anything like that. I think LeBron, he wants to go out on top. Unfortunately for him, that's not gonna happen. I don't see him winning a championship. None of that, man. None of that. So, anyways, man, I'm finna go ahead and roll out. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, hit them notifications too. It's straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Shouts out to the whole entire Lions Den basketball as well as boxing community. And on that note, man, I'll get at y'all later.